course, many of our ancestors rebelled, and we are proud of those who rebelled. We call them Maroons, and we had them in Jamaica, and we had them in Haiti, and we had them in Suriname, and we had them in Brazil, and we had them in the United States of America, and we had them all over. Let's hear it for those ancestors who fought against enslavement.
Nosotros estamos en la posición de reclamar con justicia el derecho inalienable de estos pueblos dispersos por el mundo, viviendo un racismo violento que no les permite participar con dignidad en el reparto de los bienes de esta América, de esta Abya Yala, libre e independiente, a pesar del sojuzgamiento de sus explotadores.
I pray this day that we found the mantle of truth that we can rally around and we can forge this new path to true forgiveness, true peace and reconciliation. I thank Dr. Barrow and all those who put this event together for inviting me here. This has been the best day of my life. Is to be here and to be amongst champions, leaders, those that aren't afraid. Don't be afraid to stand up, be strong. And I'm always here. I like to be there to guide you and to protect you, but most importantly, I need for all of us not to look backwards. There's nothing back there. Just look forward. And today is that day. Thank you for having me. Aloha.
I feel God every day, every minute, every second. But there's something special today to have my brother from Hawaii, you, and everyone else, my sister Yambi, and my sister from ID, Antoinette. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Al señor
Rey Sidnes, Leonardo Rey Sidnes. Yo soy oriundo de la provincia de Colón. Me he considerado siempre un cimarrón porque voy contra la norma, porque como negro que soy, viviendo en un país donde los negros siempre hemos sido avasallados, hoy es un honor estar aquí en este encuentro de reconciliación. Yo si tuviese algo que aportar, yo le cambiaría el nombre a un encuentro de entendimiento, porque no puede haber reconciliación si no nos entendemos.
Okay.
Veo que hay que darle su merecida reconocimiento a Melida Harris, viuda de Barro, por este gran esfuerzo que ha hecho de haber traído a toda esta gente del continente de nosotros, que muchos conocen como África, pero que yo reconozco como Alkebulan, que significa cuna de la humanidad, jardín del Edén y tierra de negro. Es la voz más antigua que se sabe del continente. Muchas gracias. Esto me halaga mucho porque, contrario a lo que siempre se ha dicho, el mes de las etnias, porque son más de 800 etnias, no es el mes de las etnias, son las etnias, siempre se habla de la comida, el vestuario, la música, todo eso. Esto es algo donde nos estamos sentando, estamos haciendo un reconocimiento de los últimos 500 años y estamos mirando hacia el futuro. Yo formo parte de la Comisión de Reparación, porque así mismo, como los amos pudieron ser indemnizados por la pérdida de sus esclavos, nosotros también tenemos derecho a ser indemnizados por la falta de libertad y todo el ultraje y pérdida de vida que sufrimos en ese trágico, inhumano viaje que nos trajo hasta acá.
Este reencuentro yo creo que es significativo, es positivo, porque de alguna manera se tiene la visión de los problemas son comunes y las historias, las narrativas que se han dado aquí ayudan a comprender la dimensión de la tragedia del color, como se dice, y de la trata transatlántica para poder reconstituirse. Yo creo que es un paso adelante y además los procesos, la importancia de la educación y los procesos de colaboración, yo creo que eso es significativo. Todos sabemos que pareciera que hubiera una invisibilización de la población negra en toda América, incluso en el Caribe, incluso hasta en África, de los logros, de las cosas positivas. Entonces yo creo que hay que comenzar a trabajar sobre eso, comenzar a visibilizarnos y comenzar a tender puentes de América a África, de África a América y el Caribe, para poder tener una visión y una planificación del camino que vamos a seguir, hacia dónde vamos, cuál es el futuro. Yo siento que eso es fundamental y buscar un segundo encuentro y además plantear cosas concretas. Planificación, educación, intercambio tecnológico, innovación, becas, intercambio académico entre universidades, todos esos elementos.
Y yo creo que también dentro de esto hay un factor muy importante que es el relevo generacional. Creo que también sería excelente también tener ese relevo generacional en cuanto a todo este proceso, todo este movimiento, ¿correcto?
Precisamente por eso que yo creo que la educación es clave, que los jóvenes se enteren y se integren, porque no hay relevo generacional si no hay educación y si no se transmite la experiencia, los conocimientos y que los jóvenes se comprometan en ese sentido de buscar ese vínculo nuevamente, ese match entre África y América.
This journey of the reconciliation of Mother Africa is the priority from the strategy of reclaiming, restoration of our dignity. This is the beginning of what we call repatriation, because we need to get into the roots of how we have been enslaved and the different views and the different facts today that are portrayed, that have been shown in this place, that are communicated with us from the scholar point of view, from the experience, from the great son of Haile Selassie, the grandson of Marcus Messiah Garvey, Dr. Julius Garvey, Dr. Emir Selassie, from the previous speaker right now, the economist from the University of Panama. It's indeed the actual model of development, because when you bring a development to the people, you don't come with anger, but you come with the facts of what has happened, so that people can reflect, people can understand their inheritance, because sometimes we've got anger and true anguish and pain that is echoed by the spirit of our ancestors. I am Jessica Mbangeni, Dr. Bishop Jessica Mbangeni, and let's make our religious spaces centers of excellence. Wherever we are, we must create, we must conduct feasibility study and find the similarities and develop commodities and monitor the value chain of the decommodification of our commodities, so that we can safeguard the illicit outflows and ensure beneficiation of sons and daughters of the soil. It's not too late to do that. This is the beginning of great things. Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce has got this.
Very hard work that has been done by Dr. Melinda, because it's really something important. Africa today is a new day for Africa, and it's important that the diaspora of Africa, the historical diaspora of Africa, is reconnected to the continent, but it's also important for the continent to reconnect with her diaspora, because we have a lot to gain by being together. For too many centuries we've been separated, and we have gone through a lot of traumatic experiences, and then we have been left almost at the same place where most of the access to main resources are not available to many people of African descent on the continent and outside of the continent. So for me, this experience is really one in many that we need to continue having, because it's very important that we connect to each other, to recognize who we are, to recognize our similarities, to also recognize our common struggle, so that we can put our heads together to find solutions to our problems.
So, since you have told this right now, what is the improvement or what contribution you would like ask or provide in order for this process to be continued and that stay like just only one-time event?
Yes, so I have been promoting the teaching of African cultures all over the world and talking about Africa to change the narrative, because Africa has a narrative deficit. And when I say Africa, I'm not just mentioning the continent of Africa, I'm talking about the people of Africa on the continent and outside of the continent. So it's important that we continue to have these dialogues to at least represent ourselves in our true image, because we in Africa don't always know what's here, what's in the diaspora. We don't know the amount of skills and talent and resources that our brothers and sisters have. And you also have a bit of a disconnect compared to your true identity and the true history of the continent you come from. The grand history, the grand legacy of your ancestors on the continent. So it's important that we get that done at least, so we can restore our proper sense of our identity. But furthermore, we have to open ways to collaborate on many different projects. Of course, education is the first one for me, it's the most important. But then we have to collaborate on other avenues. Like there are many projects of a development, for instance, in Africa, that require some skills and talents. But oftentimes we have to go look to other countries, like in China or India, to fill the gap of skills and competencies, while we could very much open the door to the African descendants that are in the world that are highly educated and have the competency and skills to do so. So we could at least create like a corridor for exchange in the terms of a path in terms of labor.
And in this part, the new generation came into together to the struggle. So what do you think about the new generation? This relevation of because sometimes the youth they try to help, but they don't have that type of experience. How do you handle that, or what advice do you will give the youth in order for them to be part of this process, or to be part or to have their talents or their expertise in different area, and they can apport in this and contribute in this process?
I believe that the youth is dynamic and also creative, and they have great ambitions, and it's a good thing. But they will need infrastructures that are put in place by the elders, and this is one of the big jobs that we have to do. We have to clear the path, and we have to create a protocol. And this is why I, as a traditional leader of Africa, am calling on the official powers, the governing powers of the continent, to make sure that they put the means necessary to open the path and to create protocols for exchange and collaboration. So some things shouldn't happen anymore. When it comes to African descendants going to Africa to get visa to get there, it should be an easy way. There should be an easy way to acquire land. It should be an easy way to get licensing for opening a business. And the same way should be for the people coming from Africa to connect with the communities here. The countries harboring many big African descendant communities should have a special pathway for Africans to connect with their local African communities. So this is really a job and a call that I'm putting out there for authorities, for national secular authorities in all the countries that have big communities of African descendants, as well as the African authorities on the continent, that something has to be done. It has to be political will and also vision that has to drive and dictate how we develop structures on the ground to welcome this collaboration. So as a traditional leader, I open my arms and I open the way in my land. And I know that many African kings that are today represented by me, speaking for the Pan-African Council of Traditional and Customary Leaders that I'm here to represent as well, many kings of Africa have opened their arms and saying, come to our land, come to our kingdoms. We're going to put available for you some resources to do so. So but we need the young people to also be bold and courageous and take risks. Okay, that's what they are young. Okay, they can do things that other people might not have to do. But trust me, many people are going to Africa that are not from African descent. Many people are there from all over the world, opening businesses every day, doing commerce every day, establishing structures there in Africa. So if they can come, why couldn't you come? You are the natural, partner for Africa. And countries that have African descendants in their midst should understand that and should use this asset as a resource to develop this type of relationship.
That's the reason one of the main points is the education.
Yes.
They got to educate the person got to be educated in order to apply or to create that infrastructure or that type of business. But that's the main thing. The education is one of the things that they need.
And the message for the government of Panama and all the governments that have a lot of African descendants in their midst, like in Brazil or Colombia, all of these countries, they have to understand that Africa is the next frontier, that many things for the future of this planet will be in Africa.
That's right.
And they have Africans in their midst, and they should make sure that that population is well prepared to lead the way to collaboration between their country and Africa. They have an amazing asset, and they have to do everything to develop it, to support it, so that it can rise to the occasion, to make sure that they can bring this country in good terms and relationship with Africa.
First of all, I want to thank you, my sister, and I want to thank you, my brother, all my sisters and brothers in the room, I want to thank my ancestors. And the reason I'm thanking my ancestors is because they brought this in my dream.
This has been an exciting 3 days for me, to be in the presence of you. Dr. Julius Garvey, I have known him many, many years, and he gave me one of the greatest compliments anybody has ever given me. He said to me one day, he said, "Erica, you are doing what my father wants to see done." And that was one of the greatest compliments anyone has ever given me. So I want to publicly say thank you.
Everyone is using the phone today, and my sister mentioned the coltan coming from Africa. But it's not just raw material that comes from Africa, it's also gray matter. No phone, no computer could operate without the binary code system. The binary coding system is an African invention of several centuries. Today we are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about blockchain. But all these are supported by fractal mathematics. The masters of fractals are found all over the continent of Africa for thousands of years.
We give honor and praise to all of those venerated ancestors who sit at the feet of God in this lifetime and the lifetime to come. Everyone say Ashe. Panama.
Panama.
Kings, queens, tribal chiefs, businessmen, and dignitaries from Africa, the Americas, North America, and the world. We are here to reunite and reconcile with their lost children since the time of the transatlantic trade of slaves.
We give you thanks and praise. We invite your presence here today. We ask for your blessing here today. We ask for your condescension on us here today to give all the blessings that you have for us and that you've given to us and that you will give to us. We give you thanks and praise in advance for the anticipation of you answering our prayers and our will to bless us. Ashe, thank you, amen.
When we think of reconciliation, even leaving our kingdom in South Carolina, the first thing we thought was that reconciliation can be extremely difficult between nations because of history, religion, and politics. No people in the world have suffered more destruction, loss of life, loss of kingdoms, loss of nations, loss of people than the indigenous peoples of the world. Everyone say Ashe.
This is about our freedom. This is about change. This is about love. It's time for us now to love ourselves in order to love one another. Thank you all for coming.